Drag Attack here. 2020 is in our rearview mirror and 2021 is on the horizon. I'm here with Plus Profile number 24, the last one for 2020, and today we have DS Harms, or Desryn. I know him because he likes to phone into the Pantheon Plus U show and give his feedback a lot. And so I hope you enjoy this profile. Onward and upward.
My character name is going to be Desryn, not Desryn minus. Can't help that. I plan to be a Archai Druid. I heard about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen when I logged in after hearing about the Vanguard sunset, when SOE was going to be shutting down Vanguard. I decided to log in and kind of just get that little bit of nostalgia before it was gone, and someone mentioned Pantheon in World Chat, and I assume they're talking about Pantheon of the Ancients. There's a zone there. And alas, they mentioned it was a game by Brad, and after going through and being a fan of his work in the past, I was pretty stoked and just immediately looked it up. I recently applied to the Plus Guild, actually. EQ2 was kind of like my main MMO. I played it for many years. But honestly, Vanguard was my baby. I'd actually been following Vanguard longer than I had been playing EQ2. And as far as what I like about it, I mean, there's so many good things to say, but really just how every system had so much depth. Each class was so felt special and unique, and just like the world size at the time as well. That was all just amazing things I loved. I feel like anyone that's ever talked to me about Vanguard has probably heard this story, but basically I lucked out and somehow got in really early beta, like beta 0 or beta 1 or something like that. And I remember I was sitting in Brennanstead, which was the starting area at the time, and I think it was GM Tage or one of the devs, Silas. They showed up and they're talking about, hey, we just got boats in, and that was a major feature of Vanguard, and so everyone's really excited. He's like, hey, maybe I could just show you this boat, and so he spawns a sloop in the harbor, and we're all gawking at it, like, oh, cool, finally. And my first reaction is just I need to get on. I need to get on this thing. And so I did whatever I could, jumping off the dock or anything. I finally got on board. It was just smashing keys and trying to figure out hey, if this thing's drivable, I want to do it. Eventually I hit, it was the U key or something when you're at the helm, and sure enough, it gave me control of the boat, and I sailed around for a little bit. I ended up picking up 8 or 10 people, and we're just freaking out. We're so excited. And I remember looking at the map, and it said there was a city called New Targanor, which they'd showed in screenshots, and it was to the east quite a ways. And we're all right, let's try to find it. And so we sailed for who knows how long, and eventually we got to the zone, and it was there, and it was amazing. It was huge, and just one of a kind experience with these guys. And so I just dropped them off and let them explore, and I just did ferry runs for 5 hours between Brennanstead and New Targanor, just so people could see this awesome, completely empty city. But I remember, I think Silas sent me a tell after I'd been doing it a while, and he was just hey, how'd you do that? So I had to tell him, and it comes to find out, apparently they forgot to disable it for the ship. So anyway, I like to think, whether it's true or not, that I might be the first person to ever pilot a ship in Vanguard, so it's my best story by far. That's really tough. Most of my rating was done in EQ2, around Echoes of Fadewar and Rise of Kunark expansions. I do remember one boss, one raid in Echoes of Fadewar, and I can never remember the name or anything. But I remember one of the mechanics and you had to stand like exactly, I don't know, 10 or 15 meters away from the boss, like most of the fight. If you stood like an inch closer, AoE would kill you. If you stood like an inch further away, AoE would kill you. And the whole time you're getting like knocked back, and it was just absolute chaos. And so like beating that was like such a big deal. But I just remember that mechanic being so ridiculous. PvE, for sure. But over the years, I have been getting a little more acclimated to PvP when it's implemented well. So it does add kind of a certain like tension, a dynamism or whatever. But when Pantheon goes live, I will probably be on a RP PvE server if that's an option. This is the worst question. Because I want to say I'm like main. I'm just all about that main character. But the truth is, I can never stick to that. I want to play everything. I want to try all the classes. So, while I want to say main, I am a hopeless altaholic. In every game, I always try to do this thing where I'm like, all right, my first character, I'm not gonna adventure, or I'm not gonna get higher level than I can craft for. And it's totally idealistic because it never happens in any game. It always seems like you just end up progressing, adventuring just way faster, and then crafting is basically like pointless until max level, and then you just kind of catch up. So as far as which kind though, in EQ2 I was mainly Sage on my main character, and I loved that. I loved making spell upgrades for everyone. It's just so useful, and it just fit with the theme of my character really well. So yeah, I loved that. So I don't have a lot of snacks, but as far as food, I don't know, like anything with potatoes. I love potato anything. Sometimes I'll totally just be eating mashed potatoes while like gaming. But for drinks, I kind of unashamedly love G Fuel as kind of Twitch.tv as that might be. Just some of the flavors are really good, and it's so cheap compared to energy drinks. Otherwise, I used to be a barista, so I love a good cup of coffee as well, but either one of those. I did just upgrade to a ultra wide monitor earlier this year, and oh man, I love it. So great. Highly recommend. In general, on the forums, on Twitter, on YouTube, well, I don't post anything on YouTube, but I'm pretty much always DM Harms. It's just my initials. But otherwise, if you see Desryn, it's probably me as well. So DM Harms or Desryn, pretty much everywhere. If I can be cheesy, the one thing I would like to say to everyone following Pantheon and elsewhere is just, especially this year, just be kind. It's really the best thing you can do for the game and for each other. And I know in these long waiting kind of development situations, it can wear on us pretty hard. And just waiting doesn't always feel so good for the soul, but if you could just be kind, it will further improve this awesome community and improve the game. This is going to make me seem really pessimistic, but there's good in it. So I'm going to say March 1st, 2023. I know that's a long way out, but in the end, I am okay with it taking that long, because while there might be other games that come along from here to there that are probably going to be fun, Pantheon is not just a game. It's hopefully going to be a home, and that's worth waiting for.